Welcome back to a brand new review on Around the Geek, episode 3 of Moonknight with Terrell and
Sherelle Dominique.
Sherelle.
You
Make sure
can't.
you guys don't forget. This episode is titled The Friendly Type. So we're just going to get right into it. Sherelle, what you think about episode 3?
I like this episode. It got very scientific, and this is what I like about Marvel. They do science very well with the whole space thing and resetting the time, and being able to find out where the stars were located all these years ago. This was a good episode. I like this episode. It was a little bit more action than last episode, so kind of got into the nerdy stuff, but then also kept it to the true action.
Yeah, it was definitely some action. I mean, we start right off the episode with Mark. Make sure I got Mark chasing down the guy for information, so they can figure out where the tomb of Ammit is that Arthur is trying to uncover, and that was kind of the entire purpose of the scarab. They talked about it in the previous episode. The scarab is essentially a compass to find where she's buried, or where the god is buried. I thought it was interesting seeing just kind of Mark getting into it with the guys on the roof and kind of switching back and forth and kind of waking up in the cab and then waking back up, and then again he wakes back up and he everybody's kind of either dead, and then you see like the one dude kill himself, and you see how committed to the cause they are. What you think about that? I guess that scene with the whole switching back and forth and just the scene cutting.
No, that was tight. I like that because it kind of happened in the second episode that they had did it a few times when Steven was waking up and then he would be knocked out again. This is the part of who gets control and when do they get control.
Right. That
we were talking about last episode is when do you give over the control, because it just was flipping easily this time. It wasn't Steven, you take control, or Mark, you take control. It just was happening naturally. But that fight scene was really cool because you saw the difference between Mark and Steven, how Mark knows how to fight, and then Steven's just don't kill him. So it's it's cool to see the different personalities between them two, and where Mark is I'm gonna dead this person. Steven's don't do that. He has a humility to him that I like.
Yeah, he definitely has not just his nicer side, but I'm trying to kind of think of the word.
He's a conscience in a way,
right? Just a conscience about taking another person's life and killing them. I mean, it's just they share the same body, so essentially, if he's killed somebody, they both kill somebody. You know what I mean? So that's a lot to think about. We also get a little bit more at the beginning of this too. On Layla's backstory, her father also being kind of a tomb raider and archaeologist, and they like you said, they say that she hasn't been back in Cairo, back in Egypt, in almost 10 years. And the lady that was there, I don't think they said her name at all, but you see her making the fake passports and stuff like that, and you can see, she's worked with, she's been in this business for a while. She's worked with her dad. I think, we've seen kind of what happens next, but definitely that's probably the most we're probably going to get out of Layla and her dad's backstory.
So yeah,
in her Laura Croft days, so I'm not sure how much more of that we're going to get. Like I said, the show has definitely been interesting as far as the shooting location, and I don't know, if they shot this in the desert of California, or if they
what studio did they find?
Right, break up some sand and green screen, but it looks good. Especially I feel like they've had to have been actually there for a lot of those market scenes where you see at the beginning where Mark is chasing down these guys. Like I said, I was thinking in my head, I was man, this feels like the same marketplace that they use every movie in Black Panther and Avengers. Was it with Civil War, where Black Widow's chasing them down?
Oh yeah.
Not to say all these markets look the same, but yeah, it just seems like they use the same market scene. It's always a market takedown scene in these movies. And I don't know if you noticed that.
Studio.
Yeah, because I thought it was weird. I was they keep using the same kind of setup, but it's interesting, like, just like I said, how loyal these people are to bringing this god back. You know what I mean? How loyal they are to Arthur, that they're even willing to take their lives.
Yes, definitely a cult. Yeah, anytime that guy like just jumped off the cliff and it was just like, I'm not telling you nothing. I'm just gonna risk my whole life. Yeah. So
Nah,
it's definitely a cult, and for whatever reason they're following it and they believe in whatever Arthur's telling them. I'm still trying to get to the bottom of what happened between Arthur and Khonshu, because they kind of talk about it a little bit about him using him and using Arthur when Arthur was his avatar. They're not telling us like the whole story of like what happened, but I really I can't wait till we get to that part of like what happened and why he's not the avatar anymore, or if it's because he didn't believe in Khonshu's mission or his purpose. I'm ready to see what that's all about.
Well, I mean, to a certain extent, I mean, like, they have a choice from what they make it, to make it seem, like, because I mean, Khonshu just can't take him over, because if he could, I mean, he'd just be using their body to do whatever.
Right.
So, I think, them using them as an avatar is like their connection to our world. I mean, their world. To like, what I mean, that's how they're able to materialize. And when they have the council of the gods that is convened, because they don't know the location, so that their last case scenario, they want to convene this meeting so that they can put Arthur on trial. But it's just kind of weird that they just wouldn't know that's what he's trying to do. You know what I mean? So there's obviously a limit to their power and what they can do if they can't see that he's doing this. You know what I mean? Like, obviously he's just out in the sand, but come on, you know where she's buried, where the god is buried, so you know it's close. So I just found that weird. Like, they just wouldn't know that what was going on.
Yeah, they acted as if Khonshu having this avatar that has like these split personalities, or he's unstable, he's sick, that he's incapable of like telling the truth or expressing like what's actually happening and it being real. I didn't like that. It was just like, he's lying, but how do y'all not know the truth? But I do like that the lady was like, hey, here's another avenue to it. Once they basically told Khonshu that he would be on trial or whatever, so it was nice to see she was able to tell him where else to look, that there was another option for him, because they definitely was just like, oh, you're crazy, we don't believe you, this isn't the case, because Arthur definitely made his case. But it was nice to see that because they're essentially Khonshu and her god they were lovers, so she probably still has like a soft spot for him, so she's like, let me help him. Right. Yeah,
that was Hathor, goddess of music and love, and that was her avatar. I thought that was interesting too. I didn't catch the other names of the gods. I don't think they mentioned them. It was kind of like it was a quick little 5-minute meeting. Oh, we don't believe you, because he's this guy has a mental illness, so we're gonna keep it moving.
Yeah.
I just thought that was interesting. But yeah, she winds up telling him like there's another way to find it, and that this person knew the location and he was buried with it. Yada yada yada. Is magically you're gonna be able to find this tomb. Right. So they're off. Layla and Mark are on a mission to find who has the tomb, and this is actually where we bring in the guy who actually wound up dying like a week before the show came out. The actor, I'm trying to think of his name. Pull that up right now. The actor, because he is in a couple of these episodes.
Oh wow!
And he actually has the tomb on display because he's rich. I don't know if you remember him. He was like a skiing accident or something like that right before this came out. Pull his name up. It is Gaspard Utili. I think that's, and he's playing Anton Mogart. So yeah, the guy that's supposed to be friends with her or whatever. He died in real life.
Oh yeah,
yeah, it was crazy. But he knows, he has the casket for whatever reason. He has to, the plot demands that he has the casket, so he has the casket.
Oh yeah,
And
that's the whole purpose of them meeting up with him.
right.
Yeah. What's his name? Anthony, right? In the show's name was Anthony or something. Yeah.
Who?
The guy, yeah, who she was meeting up with to get to the casket.
Yeah, his name was Anton.
Anton,
yeah. They say it so quick. You know what I mean? Like
they don't give you too many names for sure.
So like I said, I mean, like, and then we get the whole scene here where we get more of Moonknight in the suit. We get the little scene about that because after Mark, figures out the location or the star chart of the location of where it is.
So cool to me.
Right. They have the whole fight scene here. Again, notice like this is another scene where it's at nighttime. So it really questions like, can Khonshu only use his abilities at night? I mean, that can't be true.
No, because we saw him when he was in the village. He comes out, but I just think that he's more powerful at night.
Okay. Yeah, not that he manifests himself, at nighttime, but like, yeah, like I say, his abilities just seem to be more powerful than, or it could just be coincidence. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because now I'm thinking like, have we seen like Mark in his suit during the day, or have we seen Steven in his suit during the day? I don't think so. We haven't.
I thought this was interesting too because you see a lot of the struggle between Mark and Steven here during that scene. Mm-hmm. And them kind of fighting for control, and Steven's using the regular suit, like not the superhero suit, like a suit.
Yeah, I actually like the mask outfit. It reminds me of the mask when Jim Carrey puts on the mask when he has on like whole tuxedo thing. I think it's cute. I like it, but of course, the actual suit is pretty dope too.
Right, his Moonknight outfit.
And
to a certain extent, his abilities kind of deviate. I'm sure he's still kind of super strong, but his like in his other form, he's more like a brawler. You know what I mean? Like in this,
it's like giving gangster vibes versus like martial arts and karate and kung fu and all those other forms of fighting.
Steven has the hand-to-hand combat knowledge, the fight experience. Obviously, with him being a whole, whatever he was in the military.
Yeah.
So. Yeah. I thought that was interesting, man. Like, you definitely see a little bit more of the supernatural here, and of course, we get right after this fight, we get Khonshu doing the one thing that he wasn't supposed to do, which was touch that sky because he would be banished in prison.
Yep.
Clearly, it's that serious that they needed him to do that. And his freedom with the gods, they need to find out where this is. So.
Yeah, the whole purpose of them like him saying like I'm going to get in trouble this because I'm basically exposing that gods exist to humans, and he told him like where to find them. So we'll see that in the next episode of like how we're going to get to getting Khonshu back from his prison or his slumber, whatever they did with him. But
they throw him right in a stone slab.
Yeah, it was like. Well, I'm going to show you where to find me at. So, yeah, it sucks that they had to go to that extreme, but apparently they just didn't believe him because they could have done something about it.
Right. So, I mean, this definitely takes, with Khonshu being gone, this takes his abilities to manifest the suit off the table and definitely puts him at a risk because, I mean, he's not going to be able to take any damage, because that suit that gives him healing properties, to be able to heal himself.
It eventually protects him. Yeah, he's just regular human, and
he's just out there. But I just thought that was interesting the way they would do it. You mentioned earlier, like the ability to turn back Tom. Like Tom himself didn't go back, but like he's able to
rewind
the sky back to that day. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which of course puts a strain on Khonshu himself, and of course, they wound up pulling him up out of there.
Yeah.
So that was really cool. I mean, I really liked the way, when we saw that originally the first time, the way they had did that. I mean, hopefully that's not all he can do because, like I said, I still really don't know. I have even now I still haven't gone back to read anything about Moonknight.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to keep it vague until the show was over. I don't want to expect anything going into the end of this every week.
Yeah, and of course they're not going to give us all of his abilities like in the first 4 episodes. I think they're going to wait until like it's almost over to give us all of what we're going to see out of him. but we definitely see how smart Steven is, and like where did this come from? Well, I guess he works at a museum, so he should be smart. But I just thought he was doing, he was just selling and stuff in
No,
the
you can see right off the break at the beginning, he wanted to be more. He wanted to be a tour guide. He wanted to share his knowledge, his passion about, tombs and Egypt itself.
yeah.
So that's why she at the beginning that she was like, you should go ahead and just switch back to Stephen because he has knowledge on this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
He's very smart.
they wound up doing, yeah. But yeah, they wound up turning back, and that was the end of the episode. And that's where they leave us there. Overall, like you said, I mean, it was a really great episode. I'm glad we got to get more of the super full, Khonshu got exited up out of there. The show's been great so far. Again, it still stands out from the rest of the MCU. And it's still kind of like, okay, this the same world where Iron Man and Captain America existed, right? Like, okay.
Yeah, no, it's definitely different from, and that's why I was saying it kind of reminds me of like along the lines of like, not necessarily exactly like Eternals, but it just feels like separate from all of like what we know of the MCU. It just feels different. It just feels like it's in a different world of its own.
Right. Even the Eternals like acknowledged that, the Avengers existed and stuff like that. So I mean, like if this was like a thing on its own, like outside the MCU, it would work. You know what I mean? But I'm sure
you haven't heard anything else about other superheroes in this show thus far. So yeah, it just feels
that was weird in this world of already the Eternals and Asgardians and stuff, and gods that exist or what they perceive to be as gods.
Right, and then he does have books on at like in one of the episodes. I think maybe like the first or the second episode, we do see that he has a book on Asgard. We do see that he has a book on Wakanda, but it's like, is this for educational purposes or like fictional purposes? For entertainment purposes. What is he learning from these books, or is he relating what's happening in the world of like Thor and Black Panther to reference back to those books that he's reading? So we haven't seen any of what we know as far as superheroes go in this show at all.
Right. But yeah, like I said, overall good episode. I really like this episode. Like I said, a little bit more action from. Overall, it was pretty good episode here. Good mix of action, good mix of like the exploration that they were able to show here. Got a little bit more backstory on the characters, and a little bit more into Layla and Mark's relationship, and not a lot, but like just kind of that marriage and everything that they had going on, and her kind of sympathizing for his situation, not knowing what he was going through, and this whole thing with the gods. What did you think?
I thought it was a great episode, and I was kind of going down the rabbit hole earlier today thinking, because we don't know the background of Steven and like where he's been. So someone was saying that they think that he might have flipped when Thanos snapped. So I'm that's why I'm just like really curious to see all of like where did this personality come in? I guess he's been there all along essentially, but I guess between Mark going to do whatever he was doing when before, I guess when he died for Khonshu to save him, where was Steven in that time period? So can't wait to see how all this plays out.
Almost forgot to mention too, because I had it here in my notes here, but they hint at there being a third personality like early on in the episode that either Mark or Steven knew what was going on. Uh-huh. They, when Steven's like, Mark's like, was that you? He's like, nah,
Oh yeah. But it's supposed to be three of them anyway. Because remember, I was telling you that Steven was actually rich. He was a billionaire. Based on like what the actual comments were saying about him, he was actually supposed to be a billionaire.
Right. And
he's clearly not a billionaire. So I wouldn't be surprised if there was another personality in there. That's gonna be insane.
When you think we're gonna get any resolution to that? Like as far as like them talking about that again?
So we're on the third episode. How many episodes we have?
6. So we got 3 more.
It's probably gonna happen in like the last 2 episodes.
Okay, I can see that.
We'll see.
The last 2 is always like the finale, like them, like part 1 and part 2 of the same thing.
Exactly.
But the way these shows set up, I mean, like it's kind of like one long episode. Like it's like one continuous thing.
Right.
So,
well, maybe, hour-long episodes.
Right. Like I said, great episode. Episode 3, Friendly Type. This has been Terrell and Sherelle. Every time I say it now, Terrell and Sherelle.
Like, because that's my brother's name too, so it feels weird.
And
the Terrell and Sherelle show.
Hope to see you guys next week for episode 4. We'll be back with another spoiler review. See you.